Hey bitches, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, hello, my name is Morgan Shay. I'm a recovering addict in her 30s. That is a Storytime YouTuber, if you will. Today is going to be the very first episode of a new Storytime series that I'm gonna have on this channel, the therapy couch. We're just gonna do these super chill with one little LED light and you guys, and we're gonna tell a story. If you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, go ahead and do that. Also, I have a membership program that is $4. And if you are a part of the member program, not only are you going to get the first 5 episodes of my podcast, but also you will get the podcast when it comes out exclusively on SoundCloud in July, 2 days early if you're a part of my membership program. Not only that, but when we come out with merch in October, you will be the first to find out. Head on over to TikTok. I know you're all on TikTok. You cannot even tell me that you do not have a TikTok. Like, I do not believe you if you say you do not have a TikTok. Follow me at MorganShay33. Super easy. If you love story times, if you love makeup, if you love laughing, if you love having a good, cute, and fresh, gorgeous time, go follow me on TikTok at MorganShay33. What Therapy Couch Confessionals is gonna be, it's just gonna be some stories where
I wasn't the best.
These stories may not all be completely my fault, but I would say that for the better part, I take full accountability and responsibility, and I know that I was in the wrong. I just thought this would be super fun, and it's also super healthy for you to admit when you were in the wrong so that you can grow, because the best way to become the best you is to admit when you're wrong and improve from those mistakes. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into Therapy Couch Confessions, episode number 1.
2, 3, let's switch this up.
All right, lovies, so I do have some of my Edwards whipped cheesecake. I've talked about this so many times on TikTok. If you have not went and bought this cheesecake yet, you are missing out, and not me. So the story that we're gonna be telling today is super embarrassing for me. I say that first and foremost. I had made this stupid mistake to get an apartment. Now, this was very stupid because I had a perfectly good living situation with my nanny. I had everything I wanted and more. And this was just a stupid decision because I was not at all prepared, nor was I ready to be an adult, pay bills, and have that type of responsibility. And honestly, at first, I didn't want a roommate. I was like, no, I want to live on my own. I want to have, you know, like when you're 18, I don't know what it is. It's almost like we're just dying to be an adult. Like, we honestly have no clue what we're in for. Like, honest to God, I had no idea what I was actually in for. But it's like we're so badly dying to be an adult that we just don't care. We're willing to risk it all as long as we have our own place and we just have our own privacy. We just want to be full grown beauty queens, you know? So I get this apartment, and a friend of mine had said, Morgan, you know, I really want to move out too. I really want to rent a room from you, which I later would have told a story time about our roommate situation. But I was like, no. We'll call her Casey. No, Casey, I want to live by myself. Like, I'm ready to be an adult and be independent and be on my own. She got kind of mad at me, low-key. I mean, we're not friends anymore for obvious reasons. She like stole from me and was like terrible, did not help pay rent, etc. I was not ready to live on my own. All of this was foolish, every bit of it. So my nanny signs the lease with me because basically where I had never had my own place, nobody would give me an apartment. I begged and pleaded with my nanny, even though she said, Morgan, you are too immature. You do not need to be living on your own, maybe in a few years, but not right now. I finally talked my nanny into signing this lease with me, off to the races. She gets me furniture in this apartment. Like, okay, well, you're gonna have to get a job. After about 2 months of me just like live, laugh, and loving and not paying a dime, like I had no idea the concept because my nanny just continued to pay my rent for me. Eventually she was like,
hey yo bitch,
this is not reality. So you're gonna go get yourself a fucking job. Get this job at a Little Caesars in my hometown. I think it was actually $6.75 an hour at the time, which I believe minimum wage at this point was $6.50 I'm not sure. So I was getting paid like just a little over minimum wage, like a literal teardrop more than minimum wage. Things are going fine. I'm working this job, whatever. I make really good friends with one of the nighttime managers. We'll call her Ariel because she looked like the Little Mermaid, low key. We just really vibe well together. So she would schedule me all the time on night shift because me and her just worked well together and we got things done. So very early on, they offered me a manager position and I took it. I snagged it because I thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect. They ended up promoting Ariel to general manager and I got Ariel's old job. So it worked out well. And so we just continued to work night shift together. Her being the general manager, me being the manager. It was working, it was cute, it was fun, it was gorgeous. Boom. About 3 months in, I get this call from someone that I went to school with and they were like, hey, they're needing a new manager at the Kmart in Halls. I think that you would be cute and gorgeous for that position. Do you want to take it? I was like, freak. Well, you know, let me talk to my current job because I don't want to, you know, just leave. And they were like, okay, well, we're willing to pay you $11 an hour. Listen, that was a lot of money because even after I had gotten a manager position at Little Caesars, I was still only making $9. So this was a huge jump for me. And I had this apartment. My nanny was like, I'm not paying for it anymore. Like she was still having to help me like ends meet every month. But she was telling me like, listen, you wanted this apartment. You wanted to be an adult. I'm making your car payment.
You're paying your rent. You're paying your lights. You're paying your water. You're paying your cable. You're buying your groceries. Period.
And I'm like, okay, makes sense. This Kmart job would be a really good opportunity. I talked to my nanny and she's like, you need to take the Kmart job. I talked to Ariel. I'm like, hey, I know that this is like really shitty timing. Just got that promotion like a month ago.
But
I got a really, really good opportunity to manage the Kmart here in Halls. And they're willing to pay me $11 an hour, which I could really use because I have this apartment and everything. And she was like,
you cannot leave.
Made me feel really bad. So I talked to my nanny and my nanny was like, no, because I was so upset. I really wanted this Kmart job. I mean, I loved Ariel. I loved working with Ariel. Like it was, like I said, we were live, laugh, loving. It was a really good experience. But at the end of the day, I chose to be grown and have all these bills and I have this opportunity. I talked to my nanny and she's like, no, you need to write out a 2-week notice and you need to take it in. So that's exactly what I did. The very next day, I had written out a 2 weeks notice and I went and handed it in to Ariel. Now remember, at this point, Ariel is now the general manager. The only person above Ariel that I knew anyways, of course there was owners and stuff like that, was the regional manager. And he came in to Little Caesars once a month. I give her the 2-week notice and I'm like, listen, I'm really sorry, but this is just too good of an opportunity and I have to take it. Like I have bills, I have to take it.
She rips up the paper in front of me and says, you are not leaving.
In that moment, because at the time I was so backwards. I hadn't been in a situation like this before. In my mind, the only option I thought I had was just to quit. She kept telling me no. I also wrote one more 2-week notice a few days later and she still would not accept my 2 weeks notice. So on the day that was supposed to be my last day at Little Caesars, it was my last day. Like in my mind, I had already told myself like, this is it. This is my very last day at Little Caesars because I'm starting at Kmart. Like I have to go to Kmart. This is just too good of an opportunity for me. And when I had written the first, not let alone the second 2-week notice, I had already told Kmart that I would accept the position. Like they already knew. So the fact that Ariel just wasn't accepting my 2 weeks notice, like I had told her so many times, like I already accepted the position at Kmart. Like Ariel, I'm leaving. Like Ariel, I'm leaving. And she kept saying no, kept saying no, kept saying no, wouldn't accept my first notice, wouldn't accept my second notice, just nothing. And I tried to reason with her for days and days and days. After that, Nothing. So on the day that was supposed to be my last day at Little Caesars, it was my last day. Looking back, hindsight, I would have just told her like, hey, listen, you didn't accept my 2 weeks notice, whatever, like, but this is my last night. Like I told you, it was my last night. But baby Morgan did no such thing. I did not call the regional manager. I did not take any photos. I did none of these things, honey. Do you want to know what I did? The next day, that was the day following my final day on the 2-week notice slip, I did not come into work. And we were so incredibly short-handed that I ended up shutting down Little Caesars and Halls for 4 days. For 4 days, they did not have enough employment to keep Little Caesars open past 4 o'clock. So Little Caesars and Halls would close at 3 o'clock every single day for 4 days straight because I quit. It ruined mine and Ariel's friendship. Obviously, she continued to call me and I ignored her calls because she wouldn't listen to me. Fast forward to when I was about 25 years old, me and Ariel run into one another again. When we run into one another again, wouldn't you know it, that it would be at another job. It was so funny because I was her manager and we did not speak to one another for a while. Until eventually one day, Ariel comes up to me and she was like, hey, we need to just hash this out because it's been so long. And I said, yeah, it was really fucked up of me to just quit and not be like, listen, you wouldn't accept the 2 weeks notice. So while I feel that I was in the wrong for the Little Caesars thing, I don't feel like I was in the wrong. I honestly don't really feel like I was fully in the wrong at Little Caesars. I feel like I tried. She wasn't willing to work with me, so I just felt like I had no other option because I was young and immature. But what happened next is I want to say that I do take full accountability for it. I also do want to note that me and Ariel have obviously talked since this situation. She knows that I am deeply sorry for what happened, and also I did completely pay for the situation that I'm about to explain to you guys. Fast forward, me and Ariel get super duper close again. And this one in particular night, it was a coworker's birthday. And this in particular coworker,
I was very, very, very sexually attracted to. And I just knew that I was going to be his baby's mother. And we were going to live happily ever after. And we were going to live, laugh, and love and be beautiful and gorgeous and everything. It was going to be so perfect.
So I really wanted to go out. I was in like HR, so I had to be very careful of the way that I did things. And it was one of our mutual, like our co-workers' birthday parties, but everyone from the office, managers included, HR, all departments were at this birthday party. We all went out to a bar here in Knoxville called Cotton Eye Joe's. And I have so many stories that stem from Cotton Eyed Hoes, as we call it here in Knoxville. Like I have
So many stories that come from this fucking hellhole.
And this is one of them. Long story short, I was fully in my addiction while I was also in HR for this company. This is super important to remember. I did not drink. The guy that I was really, really into, he ended up not even coming this night. I just remember them getting really, 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 really intoxicated. And Ariel ends up meeting this guy at Cotton Eye Joe's. So we rode together. She ends up coming up to me and she was like, I know I was your ride here, but I'm gonna go home with this guy and I'm gonna let you drive my car home. The guy that I was into at work had just texted me and invited me to his house. He just so happened to live in
Downtown Knoxville.
and all he had was street parking. I did not know this at the time. She was like,
Can you please drive my car?
so she leaves. I go get in the car and I leave and I head towards downtown Knoxville. I call him and I'm like, hey, I'm on my way. And he was like cute, gorgeous. He was like,
When you get here, there's only street parking. He was like, but if you park on this specific street, because of how late it is and it's on the weekend, you will not have to pay to park. He was like, but if you park on the other side of the street, you are gonna have to put quarters in the meter. And you're gonna have to put enough for the entire night, at least until in the morning, and we can go move your car or whatever.
honestly, in my mind, I did not think that meters were that serious. 4 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday is a meter maid really going to be walking down the street? I did not know that there was like repo like guys who drive around at night downtown and will boot your car. So I did not even like fuck with seeing if there was even a space available on the other side of the street where guy I worked with said. I did not even check. I went and parked right at the meters, and all I had was 7 quarters, and I put them in the meter. We ended up having a cute and gorgeous time together, and the next morning he's like, I want to take you to breakfast. And I was like, oh yeah, I parked at the meters, I only had 7 quarters. He was like,
You're fucked. He was like, your car is 100% booted.
I was like, it's not my car, it's Ariel's. And he was like, you mean to tell me that you have gotten a boot on another human's car? And I was like, are you sure? Like, surely it was Saturday. It was like super duper late. Like basically the next day, surely to God, nobody's come and booted cars at this point. And he was like, dude, like, no, like there are guys who drive around in the middle of the night, and that is how they make money, is to put boots on cars. He was like, they're about to make $75 for that boot they put on your friend's car.
I was like, well, it's not my car.
He was like, there is no way that you are going to have your friend pay for this boot. I was like, well, if she would have dropped me off the way that she told me that she would, I was 100% in the wrong. I ended up sending a text to Ariel and saying, hey, your car is booted on such and such street in downtown Knoxville. If you would have given me a ride, this wouldn't have happened. I'm not paying $75 to get this boot off. I've called the company. They are only able to meet you here after 6 p.m. So you'll have to come get your car. Ariel ended up quitting the job, and we did not speak until a year ago. I, to this day, feel so rotten to my core about that. And this is just a lesson, you guys. It always pays off to be the bigger, better person who will regret treating people shitty. And again, to Ariel, I am so sorry that I did that. That was the shittiest. So yeah, you guys, I hope y'all did enjoy that story time. Be sure that you do subscribe before you leave. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And until the very next time, stay gorgeous, bitches.